Ahoy there, future maritime masterminds. Ready to chart a course towards your dream job?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Today we're diving deep into the role of Maritime Water Transport General Manager.
It's a big one.
And to help us navigate these waters, we've got a detailed career guide from RoleCatcher, plus 10 of the most common interview questions they throw at aspiring captains of industry like you.
We're going to decode what those interviewers are really at.
Exactly. And how to steer your answers toward landing that role. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with question number 1. Can you provide an overview of your experience in the maritime water transport industry?
Notice how they want an overview, not a chronological snooze fest.
Ah, got it.
This is your chance to showcase the highlights reel of your maritime journey.
So not just like, I worked at X, then Y. What kind of story should we be prepping?
Think about projects where you went above and beyond, maybe even had to wrestle with a Kraken-sized problem.
Love it.
Did you streamline a process, negotiate a tricky contract, or, I don't know, save the day for a demanding client?
Those are good.
These are the tales that demonstrate your understanding of the industry's ebb and flow.
Ooh, good point. It's about connecting your experience to the role's demands. And speaking of demands, according to RoleCatcher, monitoring is a key skill for a maritime water transport general manager. It's not just about overseeing operations. It's about that keen eye for detail, noticing those little things that can make or break a smooth voyage.
Exactly. And that brings us to a potential follow-up. What's an example of a time you noticed a potential problem before it escalated, and what steps did you take?
Ooh, that's good.
This lets you flaunt that monitoring skill in action.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you fine-tune your responses. Imagine having a digital-first mate who's analyzed hundreds of job descriptions and interviews for this specific role.
Oh, for sure.
Like having a cheat sheet for what impresses those hiring managers.
Their CV resume builder can even weave these keywords into your application materials. Think monitoring, critical thinking, active listening. These are the magic words that make your resume sing.
All right, chart the course for question number 2. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and changes?
Here, they're testing your commitment to being a lifelong learner in a field that's constantly evolving.
So reading those dry maritime journals isn't enough, huh?
Well, staying informed is crucial, but they're also looking for how you apply that knowledge.
No.
Maybe you attended a conference on port cybersecurity or took an online course on sustainable shipping practices.
I see.
Show them you're not just keeping up, but actively seeking out those cutting-edge developments.
This reminds me of another key skill RoleCatcher highlights, reading comprehension. And it's not just about understanding technical documents, but also deciphering complex regulations, interpreting market trends, and even gauging client needs from those subtle cues in their emails.
Precisely. And a savvy follow-up question might be, what's a recent industry development that you found particularly relevant to this role and why?
Oh, that's a good one.
This lets you connect your knowledge to their specific needs.
All right, on to question number 3. How do you manage and motivate your team?
The age-old challenge of leading a crew. They're trying to gauge your leadership style and whether you can inspire those under your command.
So, I'm a great motivator. Won't cut it. What kind of concrete examples should we prepare?
Think back to a time when you had to rally your team through a storm, so to speak.
Okay.
Did you implement a new training program that boosted morale? Did you successfully resolve a conflict between crew members? This is where those active listening and coordination skills come into play, which, by the way, are highly sought after in this role, according to RoleCatcher.
And that's another area where RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice your answers. Imagine recording yourself responding to this question and then getting feedback on your tone, clarity, and even the specific examples you use.
That's great.
It's like having a personal interview coach who knows exactly what those maritime hiring managers are looking for.
Speaking of those managers, they'll likely have a follow-up ready. Describe your approach to delegating tasks and ensuring accountability. They want to see if you can empower your team while maintaining high standards.
Okay, next up is question number 4. How do you ensure compliance with safety regulations and standards?
Safety is the bedrock of the maritime world. They want to see that you're not just aware of regulations, but live and breathe them.
Right. I follow the rules, won't inspire confidence. What's a better approach?
Give them a specific example of when you went above and beyond basic compliance.
Oh,
Maybe you implemented a new safety training program, conducted regular risk assessments, or even developed a system for proactively identifying potential hazards. Show them you're a stickler for safety, but also innovative in your approach.
And this ties into another key knowledge area highlighted by RoleCatcher: transportation. It's not just about moving goods, it's about understanding the intricate web of international regulations, safety protocols, and environmental considerations that govern the movement of those vessels.
Exactly. A potential follow-up could be, tell us about a time you had to implement a new safety regulation and the challenges you faced. This shows your ability to adapt to change while upholding those critical standards.
All right, time for question number 5. How do you manage budget and financial performance in your role?
They're casting a line to see if you can navigate the financial currents of the maritime world.
So more than just balancing the books, huh? What kind of financial savvy are we talking about here?
It's about demonstrating that you can not only manage budgets, but also make those tough decisions that contribute to the company's bottom line.
So we need to showcase more than just number crunching skills.
Absolutely. Think back to a time when you identified cost-saving measures without compromising safety or efficiency. Or maybe you implemented a strategy that boosted revenue, perhaps by optimizing shipping routes or negotiating favorable contracts. Quantify your impact whenever possible.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Administration and management. Another key knowledge area RoleCatcher mentions really comes into play here. It's about understanding the financial levers of the business, forecasting costs, analyzing market trends, all while keeping those ships sailing smoothly.
Precisely. And be prepared for a follow-up like, how do you prioritize spending when faced with limited resources?
Well, that's a good one.
They want to see that you can make those tough choices while keeping the big picture in mind.
It's like being the captain during a storm. You got to make tough calls to keep the ship afloat. Now, let's navigate toward question number 6. How do you ensure customer satisfaction and retention?
The art of keeping those clients happy. They're looking for someone who can build lasting relationships and go the extra nautical mile.
So more than just like, I provide excellent customer service. What kind of stories should we be sharing here?
Think about a time when you turned a disgruntled client into a loyal advocate.
Oh, nice.
Did you resolve a complex issue with grace and efficiency? Did you anticipate their needs before they even voiced them? This is where your customer and personal service knowledge shines. It's about understanding the nuances of client relationships in this industry.
RoleCatcher's AI can be a lifesaver when prepping for these behavioral questions. Imagine having a tool that analyzes your responses and tells you if you're coming across as genuine, empathetic, and, let's be honest, not robotic.
Exactly. And be ready for a follow-up, like, describe a time you had to deal with a demanding client and how you handled the situation.
Sure.
They want to see how you navigate those choppy interpersonal waters.
All right. On to question number 7. How do you approach problem-solving and decision-making in your role?
This is where they're testing your ability to think on your feet and make those critical judgment calls under pressure.
So no, I'm a great problem solver, answers aloud. What kind of examples should we be showcasing here?
Think back to a time when you faced a major logistical nightmare, a sudden regulatory change, or a mechanical failure at sea.
Oh, okay.
Walk them through your thought process, how you gathered information, analyzed options, weighed the risks, and made a decisive call.
This is where RoleCatcher's emphasis on critical thinking really comes into play. It's not just about finding a solution. It's about demonstrating that you can analyze a situation from all angles, consider the potential consequences, and make a decision that's in the best interest of the company and, of course, the safety of the crew and vessel.
Spot on. And a likely follow-up would be, what's the most difficult decision you've had to make in your career, and what factors did you consider?
That's a good one.
This gives you a chance to showcase your leadership and judgment.
Okay, question number 8. How do you prioritize competing demands and manage time effectively?
The eternal struggle of juggling 1,000 tasks while keeping those ships sailing on schedule.
So, how do we convince them we're not going to be drowning in paperwork while the fleet falls apart?
Share your secret weapons for staying organized and on top of everything.
Okay.
Maybe you're a master of to-do lists, swear by project management software, or have a knack for delegating effectively.
Don't be afraid to get specific here, right? Mentioning actual tools and techniques can demonstrate that coordination skill RoleCatcher highlights. It's about orchestrating all those moving parts in this complex industry.
Exactly. And be ready for a follow-up, like, describe a time you had to juggle multiple urgent deadlines. How did you prioritize and ensure everything was completed on time?
Good one.
They want to see how you handle pressure and maintain that smooth operational flow.
Okay. Next up is question number 9. How do you adapt to changes and challenges in the industry?
Here they're looking for flexibility and that ability to weather those unpredictable storms that the maritime world throws your way.
So I'm adaptable, won't quite cut it.
Right. Instead, share a time when you had to navigate a major industry shift,
Okay.
maybe a new regulation, a technological disruption, or even a global event that threw a wrench in your plans.
Right.
Highlight how you embraced the challenge, learned new skills, and adjusted your course to keep things moving forward.
It's about demonstrating that native language proficiency RoleCatcher emphasizes, but on a deeper level. It's not just about speaking the language of the industry, but about understanding the nuances of change, anticipating those shifts, and communicating effectively in the face of uncertainty.
A potential follow-up could be, what are some emerging trends in maritime transport that you're keeping an eye on, and how do you see them impacting your role?
Interesting.
This allows you to showcase that forward-thinking mindset.
Okay, final question. Question number 10. How do you ensure effective communication with stakeholders and team members?
This is about demonstrating those captain-like communication skills.
Yeah.
Clear, concise, and able to inspire confidence in everyone from the engine room to the boardroom.
So what kind of communication feats should we be highlighting here?
Think about a time when you had to explain a complex technical issue to a non-technical audience,
Yeah.
or maybe mediate a conflict between team members with different perspectives. Show them you can tailor your communication style to different audiences and navigate those tricky interpersonal dynamics.
This ties into that active listening skill we keep coming back to. It's not just about conveying information, but about truly understanding the other person's point of view, whether it's a concerned client, a frustrated crew member, or a demanding regulator.
Exactly. And a likely follow-up could be, describe a time you had to deliver difficult feedback to a team member. How did you approach the conversation?
Oh, that's a tough one.
They want to see your ability to handle those tough conversations with empathy and professionalism.
Wow. We've sailed through all 10 questions. But before we dock at the port of success, let's drop anchor and explore those career insights RoleCatcher provides. It's like having a treasure map to career advancement.
Exactly. RoleCatcher suggests that many aspiring maritime water transport general managers start as coordinators.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a chance to learn the ropes, get hands-on experience, and prove you can handle those day-to-day tasks.
From there, you might climb to junior manager, then senior manager, before finally taking the helm as general manager.
So it's a journey, not a sprint. And those skills we talked about, monitoring, critical thinking, active listening, they're like your tools for navigating each stage.
Speaking of navigating, RoleCatcher also highlights emerging trends that are reshaping the industry. Think automation, digitalization, and a growing focus on sustainability.
So not only do you need to manage ships and crews, but also the environmental impact. It's a whole new layer of responsibility.
Exactly. Future general managers need to be tech-savvy, environmentally conscious, and adaptable to those ever-changing global regulations.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer. Imagine tailoring your resume and interview answers to specifically address these trends, showing you're ahead of the curve.
Their platform can even provide insights into specific companies, their values, and what they're looking for in a leader.
It's like having a secret weapon in your arsenal.
And it's not just about getting the job, it's about excelling in it. RoleCatcher's tools can help you continue developing your skills and knowledge throughout your career.
So it's a valuable resource for both aspiring and seasoned maritime professionals.
Absolutely.
Well, we've charted a course through those tricky interview questions, explored the career path, and even glimpsed into the future of the industry. I'd say we're ready to drop anchor.
Before we do, let's leave our listeners with one final thought. Imagine yourself 5 years from now leading a team, making strategic decisions, and steering your company toward success. What steps can you take today to make that vision a reality?
Ooh, that's a powerful question. It's about setting those goals, embracing continuous learning, and never losing sight of your ambition.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
Until next time, fair winds and following seas to all our future maritime leaders.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.